Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the OCT podcast. I hope you've been watching our podcast lately. I think the market has been great lately, and Bitcoin breaking the all time highs back to back, like riding from 68K to 93K. It has been a journey, right? So, right now, Bitcoin is kind of chilling with a small correction, but talking about the alts, I think they've quite literally crapped their pants. But this isn't the kind of chaos we are afraid of, because that's when fortunes are made, right? So here's a question for you, Sahil. Do we dive into the alts now, or do you feel it is too late for the people to get in and buy some alts for themselves?
Hey Tanishq, hey to everyone who's watching us. To answer your question, I think it is a very opportune time to get into alts. It isn't early, it isn't late. If again, no financial advice, but if it was up to me, this is the time when I would likely enter the market. When we look at some of the utility alts and compare them to the last mini bull run that we had back in March, April, most of them are sitting a good 3 to 5x below those year to date high numbers. I'm talking about micro caps, obviously, not the ones in billions. But yeah, when we talk about the micro caps, easily 3 to 5x below those numbers. And if people enter now, what we have seen over the last 2 or 3 bull cycles, most probably they'll be making up good money if they invest into good projects right now. But nothing can be guaranteed in this industry. You know that we have seen crashes, unexpected pumps, unexpected crashes before, and yeah. But I think a very opportune time to getting into alt season right now.
Absolutely. I mean, alt season is yet to come, and like you mentioned, there is a lot of micro caps who are sitting way below their uh, last cycle's high, or maybe the uh, high they touched in March this year, right? But that brings me to meme coins, because meme coins are absolutely stealing the show right now. I mean, talking about Peanut, right? It went ballistic. It hit a mind blowing 1.9 or 2 billion market cap, if I'm not wrong. And then there's Pepe, there's Doge. There are two Doges now, the Department of Government Efficiency Doge and the OG Shiba Dog. So, what do you feel? Like these coins are just pumping like there's no tomorrow. Do you think they're going to stop anytime soon?
I think we discussed this in the last podcast as well. 2024 has been the year of memes, right? Utilities have suffered so far, apart from the March, April bull run, not even a bull run, mini bull run that we talked about. Utilities have suffered. They are way down and crashing to their bottoms, whereas memes have been stealing the show, as you mentioned. Will it continue? In my personal opinion, yes, it will continue in the next few months at least. And as you said, there are a lot of factors that are contributing to this particular thing. In the last week alone, we've seen Peanut and Act both getting listed on Binance and taking advantage of the so-called Binance effect, hitting 700 million, 2 billion in market cap. And those were not numbers that were expected out of them. These are 20, 25 X's in just a single day. And this is only possible with memes. We all know that. When we talk about the larger meme coins, the OGs that came into prevalence in the last bull run, Shiba Inu and the original Doge, those as well have done very well in the last 2 weeks. I'd say ever since Trump has won the elections, I think all Shiba and dog based coins have done really well. And I do see them doing even better now that we have the Department of Government Efficiency, right? So I think that will continue. And whereas these mid, we can't call them mid, but the coins that gained popularity after the Doges and Shivas of the world, the Pepes, the Bonks, the dog with hats, right? They have also done a good price action over the last week, 70%, 80%, some of them. So I think this will continue till there is a lot of liquidity in the market. I think right now, the last I checked, we were around 2.98 trillion, around 3 trillion. And I think if we go to 4 trillion in this bull run, a lot of it will be in the meme coins, a lot more than what we had seen in 21 and 22. That is my personal opinion on memes.
Yeah, I quite agree with you on that because, like you mentioned, uh, the total market cap of the crypto industry will surely be also dependent on meme coins, because I see the retail market coming back. And when these guys open their Coinbase or whatever exchange they're using, they're looking at their uh, Shibas and their Doges, and they're thinking like, oh, we're back at that level, like the 2021 level. So people are holding from years, right? And the first thing they get into are memes, right? Like you mentioned, the Pepe rally, for instance. I think it is probably more or less tied to the Robinhood relisting it, right? Because if, like, let's just give a brief to our audience that Robinhood, the exchange, the same platform that, thanks to the SEC heat last year, they had to dump Solana, Cardano, Ripple, and a lot more cryptocurrencies of the exchange. And people were even forced to sell Solana at $15. They were asked to liquidate it, right? But here we are, fast forward to today, and now they're relisting Solana at $200, which is wild, right? Delisting it at $15 and relisting it at $200. And yeah, so yesterday they announced that they are relisting Solana, Cardano, XRP, and even Pepe, which was, a wild turnaround. And I feel that was also a major catalyst in what you call the pump for the meme coins and Pepe in particular. I mean, this is what I personally call the Trump effect. So also you mentioned about Elon and the Department of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. So what do you think about this duo of Elon and Vivek? They're trying to make things work. Maybe meme coins are not jokes anymore, right? They're becoming cultural and political statements. What do you think on that?
See, I have always, again, I do not know about the politics in the United States, but from whatever we read and see on the internet, I've always found all these three people, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're very eccentric, they're very dynamic, and they're very fast to take actions, right? They're not the slow kind of people who gonna take the pros and cons. Of course, I'm sure they take the pros and cons of things, but still very, very dynamic as compared to their colleagues or compatriots. And these three have, even in the election run up, their approach was very dynamic and very different to see this time as compared to a normal politician's election campaign. So now that they've come up with this Department of Government Efficiency, which Elon Musk has been teasing for quite a long time, and they've launched it officially now. So maybe again, as you mentioned, maybe memes are creeping into our culture. They are a part of pop culture anyhow, but they're creeping into the culture of politics. They're creeping uh, into the culture of the United States as a whole, which again is good for the industry, but we do not know how it will turn out. Too early days to call this because of the dynamism of the action, I think. And when it comes to another thing that I was reading, by the way, about Trump was, I'm not sure about the legitimacy of the news, but I read that Trump was thinking of removing taxes on gains made on projects that are from the US. So, for example, any project that has its base in the US, if you make any money trading or holding that particular project, there would be no capital gain taxes for the US citizen. If this happens, that this would be absolutely massive for the market, in my opinion, because we've seen a lot of people and a lot of projects move to Dubai, move to Southeast Asia lately. And by lately I mean the last 2 to 3 years. But if all these projects start going back to the United States, where the technology industry, other than crypto, I mean, we all know the United States has always been a front runner in the technology industry, and if the industry started, if the crypto industry starts merging with the IT industry in the United States, I think it will be a huge thing for the crypto industry.
I mean, yeah, that would be absolutely huge because I was watching a video lately. I even told you about that. That most of the projects, right, uh, the venture capitalists even are like based out of the US, putting the money in projects that are from the US, and like second comes, I guess, Hong Kong and Singapore and these Southeast Asian countries. But then, yeah, that if they're removing the capital gains on projects who are US based, America based. So that would be huge for the market. I mean, a huge turnaround, maybe a huge shift, because most of the projects I see are situated in various islands, Seychelles or whatever you call it. So I mean, talking about
Yeah, there turnarounds. Talking about turnarounds, what do you think of the PAL turnaround lately?
I mean, yeah. So the PAL AI and that merger fiasco. I mean, honestly, the community wasn't just unhappy; they were livid. I was reading the comments on X, and it was just horrible. I mean, what I know from the statement was that the holders were supposed to get their PAL tokens converted to FET at a rough ratio of around 6 is to 1, if I'm not wrong, right? And that was not it. A 180-day forced staking period on top of that. I mean, during a market like this, that's asking a lot from people, right? Because people want flexibility. They don't want to be locked up with, well, while everything's shifting, right?
I'll just read out a comment that I have taken a screenshot of. This is by a legend called nostalgic underscore LSD. This was under the post announcing the merger. So nostalgic here says, and I quote, "Can't believe you guys even considered locking your investor funds for 180 days after merging. Sure, let me withdraw my funds at the beginning of a bear market. Clown emoji. Damage has been done. I'm not selling, but I know a truckload of heavy wallets that sold and ain't coming back. Next time, ask the community what we want. We are the ones financing the project and keeping the lights on. I'm sure this is clear after a minus 80% in 24 hours." So this was nostalgic's view on the thing. Do you
I mean,
resonate with this view?
absolutely, absolutely. He's bang on, I saw that it plummeted by 80%, 70, 80%. And you know what? Like the 180-day forced staking period, the 6 is to 1 the ratio of, the conversion to fetch. They also added a 5% merge fee for marketing and integration. That is what they mentioned in that article. Honestly, that's that didn't sit quite right, because the community made it very clear that they weren't on board, like you mentioned. So, like, yeah, the result
I
is
did.
out now. The
I don't know
merger is,
who even passed this. This is very absurd to me.
no,
Who
it
even
wasn't
passed
part.
this? And
I guess it was
no,
up
I
for,
mean the
yeah.
idea. The vote
Oh, yeah,
didn't
I
even
know.
happen, but
Yeah,
even
yeah.
the proposal, right? Even the proposal needed to come in front of the community. The community did not even allow for a proposal here, which was, and this I think is a very positive thing, showing how strong communities are with crypto projects. We've seen a lot of
Right.
traditional companies go under the bus because of taking such rash decisions. Here, yes, there was a 70 to 80% dump, and the token loses value. That will happen, right, if you do such things. But still, the community did not allow the project to immediately go under the bus, right? Had
Right.
it been a single person taking a decision, and after that this had happened, it would have been a 95% annihilation of the PAL AI token, right? So yeah, I think this is something that we can see that communities do matter in the crypto space. And I have one other point here which I read under the same comments, and this is very interesting. I'll tell you. This is from a gentleman named Super Hirbo on X, and I quote:
Would you
"Of
want to
course,
share your
the
screen?
no, not really right now because there's something in the background as well. We'll start sharing screens from the
Sure, sure,
next
sure.
podcast, by the way,
Yeah.
to all the viewers. So yeah, I'll just quote it. Of course, the timing of PAL's entry into MEXC futures is no coincidence. First, they drop a bearish update to drive the price down, then scoop up cheap coins, and later, as the market dips, they push it up with a merger cancellation announcement. This move smells fishy. They're using the pump, dump, pump tactic to bleed the market dry. Classic case of big players preying on the small ones. How interesting is this? And how big an allegation is this on the Pali IT?
I mean, Sahil, we should keep this for, when we are off the camera, I think, because there are a lot of instances when I've read comments like these, and even not only the Web3 industries, but also the Web2 giants like Spotify and all. Because, like, I want to just share the story with you. I read somewhere that, like, this is obviously a, accusation, and it is not proved yet, but you know how Spotify works, right? They pay artists the streaming fee based on how many streams they get. So many people have noticed, various playlists, new playlists on Spotify, created by Spotify themselves, where they have been accused of putting in AI generated music or songs, whatever you call it, on their playlists, and like having those stream money for themselves. So because
See,
most of
again,
the
accusations, definitely these are just
right,
accusations, and we are not trying to create any FUD or blaming anyone
yeah,
here.
yeah,
But as you mentioned, if anyone from PAAL AI by chance is watching this video, these are the kinds of comments that I think the team should sometimes clarify. I don't say that clarify everything the community posts. We know how it goes in the crypto industry, but this was
right.
one of the multiple such comments addressing this problem and raising this problem. I've seen, I'm not sure, the PAAL AI was distributing some sort of tokens as a remittance for people who've lost value and all those things. So good for them. But I think sometimes there should be clearer communication when such allegations are being raised by your own community, right? If it is your own community, it is good to address people sometimes. That is just my opinion. And again, Super Hirbo is a gentleman, I'm sure.
Uh, I mean, yeah, that was a clear example of the power of a community, which can have people push back. And one thing I would like to address here is that uh, here's the thing, Sahil. I mean, if you back a project, right, you trust them to play it smart and respect the people who got them there, right? Announcing a merger with forced staking, a steep conversion rate, and even a merger fee for bearing marketing expenses. I mean, it's no wonder people felt betrayed and people were angry at them, right?
Another
So
point here, yeah, sorry to cut you off, but one very important point that I had researched today, as you mentioned, people felt betrayed in a forced
yeah.
vesting period and whatnot.
Mhm.
1st July 2024, when the merge happened, right? Now, here are some statistics for you. Fetch AI was $1.25, right? And right
Yeah.
now, sorry, it was $1.43, and right now it is $1.25. Tau on 1st July was
Mhm.
$271, and
It's
today
above
it is
550, right?
$509. And it has
Mhm.
reached $629 in October as well. So the biggest player that they were competing with has nearly doubled in value, whereas they have dropped in value by a certain percentage. Now, again, crypto is very volatile and a lot of things happen here. Render, by the way, has another one of the competitors, has nearly the same performance as Fetch AI. But the question that I have to you and rhetorically as well is, it trails Tau considerably, right? And especially since July. So wasn't the point to merge all these decentralized AI projects and create an Avengers of decentralized AI and beat Tau in the market cap and be the sole leader here?
The super
And that
intelligence,
did
yeah.
not happen. That did not happen, right? So I'm not
Mhm.
saying, again, we might see a lot of growth from ASI, but even the token has not been renamed yet to ASI. It's still FET. So I'm not sure if only the reasons that we discussed so far, the vesting period, the merging fees, and all those things are the only reason. I think a very big reason is also, do people actually trust the ASI Alliance, or is it just for show? Because the price action hasn't backed them so far, at least.
I mean, I remember the early days. I was actually writing a script on that for the YouTube video, and the merger got delayed by like 2 months or something like that. If you remember, it was supposed to happen in April or May. It happened late in July, like you mentioned. So, I mean, there were a lot of red flags along the way, and like you said, the price action is a good representation of what the community or what the people feel about what these guys are doing, right? I even look at tweets from people from other projects, other AI projects, and they're not very pleased with whatever they're doing. The SI people, but I mean, yeah, that's how things go.
No,
So
these were smart people. I mean, these are smart people still. They were the best in the business. Fetch AI, I was a huge fan, and I still am a huge fan of Fetch AI. But I think people have been a little disappointed. I hope they mend and correct course, and we go on to see a 5 to 10 maybe dollar FET, and hopefully it gets renamed to ASI first, and then it reaches the $10 mark. But we cannot see the future. We can only see what has happened so far, and so far it has been a little underwhelming, is what I think.
they've just updated the logo, right? The name is still Fed.
The rebranding doesn't matter, right? Anyways, the
I'm just
point
asking.
of
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
token not being renamed as
Mm,
ASI is also not a huge point, but four
mm.
to 5 months after this, you expect it to happen, right? It isn't key. It's been only 2 weeks and we are asking such questions. It has been 5 to 6 months. You need to address such things. Anyhow, let's go uh, move forward in the podcast. And so, as we discussed in the first part of the podcast about the alt season that might be coming up, what all projects are you backing for this new and hopefully the end game alt season bull run that we're about to see?
Um, See, I won't like to name projects, but then check it. I will name projects, but then let me start off with. Uh, I'm actually backing narratives rather than projects for this bull run because I mean, uh, this bull run kind of feels different because when I look at what's happening with the Bitcoin spot ETFs and a way more experienced crypto community, I feel the game has leveled up, right? But I feel there's a lot to catch and there's a lot more money to be made in the market. So there are a few narratives which I am backing. One of them is RWAs, the other one being obviously artificial intelligence, and layer ones are also a narrative I'm really bullish on. So if we talk about RWAs, I really like prop base, I really like prop chain. These two projects I am really a big fan of. And just for clarification, this is not a sponsored video, and I'm just wearing this because I got this T-shirt as a merchandise in the token event. So yeah, coming back, talking about artificial intelligence projects, I'm a big fan of Render, as you know,
Everyone knows.
you know better. Everyone knows, right? So there's Render, then there's Tau, right? And there's Chain GPT, which I'm really bullish on because there are plenty of reasons for that. One of them, I guess, I told you because of the ticker CGPT. That matters, right? And talking about layer ones, there's just you know Sui, which I'm really bullish on, and Tectum also. Tectum is also good, but then Sui is something. Sui and Caspa, for that matter. Caspa is like, what do you call it?
Has
He,
Caspar
it,
run
it
its course though? That is my question. Caspar, people have made 100 X's, 150 X's. Is it going to
See,
go even further?
mathematically, yes, it's possible because we are seeing 8 billion market cap of meme coins. Pepe is what, 8 billion market caps, and it has the potential to reach up to a 50 billion market cap when everything, maybe even 100 billion market cap, right? So yes, there is potential mathematically. It is possible for Casper to even grow more, and I really like these kind of projects which are absolutely backed by a strong and real community, and also the team behind them is actually, obviously there are a few criterias of me, judging a project, and team is on the top of that because that is what matters at the end of the day, right? And like I feel you might be also very comfortable with holding on to those projects. You have a trust on the team. So those are some of the projects I would like to name. And obviously this is crypto 101, but people still mess it up, right? I don't want FOMO people to FOMO into something because Twitter's hyped about it, or maybe they're listening to this podcast. You should always look into the team, the community, and especially the tokenomics. You have to know why you're putting your money into something, or else there's no point, according to me. So yeah, those are some
Yeah,
of the names. Yeah.
I think Sui has been really a project that has surprised me as well, how fast it grew. But there has been one that even surprised me more than Sui, and that has been Mantra. I was just doing the research for this podcast. Same time last year, Mantra was at 14 million market cap, and right now it is at 1.4 billion. So it is
Are
a
we talking about
100x.
the Ohm coin?
Yeah. Ohm coin has 100x in the last 365 days. Ohm coin is the only utility coin that is in the top five earners other than meme
That's
coins.
that's an RWA coin, something like that, right?
No, I don't think so. Not an
Okay.
RWA coin. It is an L1 or an L2. I'm not sure. Most
Okay.
probably that. But
Uh, is
a
there a tool
hundred
we
x.
can? Is there a tool
So
by which we can see the demographics of the on-chain holders or something? I'm sure most of them would be
you want them to be
Indian.
Indian? I think mantra is a word that has been adopted into the English language as well from Hindi, right? I don't think
Yeah.
the Indian community has. A, I mean, the Indian community in crypto is big. I think it is the second or third largest holders of crypto generally in the world, India. But still, 100x in 1 year just because of the name, I doubt it a bit. So
Obviously,
Om
yeah.
has been really amazing in this last year. Aptos has been really good. I think
I missed on that.
Aptos and Sui, because they were not present in the last bull run and they just shot up to market caps above 6 billion each. Sui right now I think is the 14th or 15th largest market cap by market cap. So
Yeah.
these are really strong projects, and these are larger projects, right? Billion plus projects that I'm talking about. When we talk about market cap, sorry, micro caps, I think RWAs and DPINs are riding a very strong wave, which I hope succeeds and does not falter into like the metaverse. But I think RWAs and DPINs will succeed because this is something that I've always believed that crypto has been made for. That is tokenization of assets, and this is a use case that they're really making advantage of blockchain technology for reals. It is just not for sure. It is for reals. And yeah, projects we all know. Ondo has been amazing. Prop based, prop chain. There's a lot of good RWA and DPIN projects. I want everyone to do their own research. That is the best way to get into crypto. Get your hands dirty. This is the time, in my opinion. I think it is now or never. I don't believe that we'll be getting two more bull pushes. I think it'll be one, and it'll be a very strong one, much stronger than what we saw in March. But again, that's just my opinion, not financial advice at all.
Uh, so yeah, can you hear me, Sai? Is my
Yeah,
internet all right? Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, like you mentioned about Sui, right? I have one more thing to add about it. Is that the last bull run, 2021, if we talk about, Solana positioned itself as a cheaper and a faster alternative to Ethereum, right? And what I feel is that Sui can do the exact same thing, but with a more modern and vibe, because Sui is 100% more developer friendly, and they have the initial what do we call it, properties Solana had when it launched. Sui is much more better than that right now. So I think that is also a very big reason venture capitalists are interested in L once again. And I would love to see the report from this quarter, Q4, for the investments part. And I'm really bullish on these sectors which I mentioned: RWAs, Beepins AI, and what do we call it, layer ones. So yeah, that's that. And uh, what else? I mean, tokenomics is also something I and you really care about, right? Because I've seen great projects totally flop just because their tokenomics were garbage, right? Like long vesting
I,
schedules or
I just
inflationary
hope.
supply. Yeah.
Yeah, inflationary supply is a very big problem, and even bigger problem happens when projects start changing their tokenomics. That is a huge issue for all the crypto projects that do that. PAAL AI, as we mentioned, again, not a direct change in tokenomics, but a very big change when we say add investing periods and the 6:1 change and all those things. If you've promised people something, I think it is in your best interest to keep it that way. We saw Relio uh, maybe last month, right? It was late October when they announced about some change in their tokenomics, which was due to happen in some couple of decades overall. But still, the market and the community reacts in a way that you suffer the consequences. Yeah, so I think these were all the things that we had planned for today's podcast, and I hope the altcoins that we mentioned will eventually turn out to be as good as we expect them to. And yeah, let's connect next week, and hopefully by then some of the picks, mantra maybe, would have pumped even more.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, that was a great conversation, and like, let's uh, end this one right here, and we'll catch up another time. It was absolutely a great conversation. So, yeah, guys, that's all for the OCT podcast today. Thank you for tuning in, and if you made the video till here, if you made it till here.